listening to Phantasm Podcast, a horror death metal podcast for the old school. Join your hosts Corey Gorkreis and Dr. Vincent West as they stuff horror movie reviews and death metal interviews all in one body bag. Listen on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, and like on Facebook, and head over to stagediverradio.com for more.
This is Scott from CLOAK.
Hey, this is Billy from CLOAK, and you're listening to Phantasm Podcast. All right.
Phantasm.
Dr. Vincent West, Phantasm Podcast, and I'm here today with Scott and Bill from CLOAK.
And Corey Gorkreis.
Well, Corey's always here with me.
Hi.
It's a given. But
guys from CLOAK, this is awesome.
Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Excellent.
Hey,
Thank you
good.
for doing this. And your latest album, Season of Mist, to Venomous Depths, and that's available now.
It's been available for a while, so if you CLOAK fans don't have that record, then please go buy it.
Yep.
It's been out for long enough, you know.
And we'll just get right into this. Scott, talk a little bit about how the band's inception for everyone listening out there.
Me and Sean, the drummer, started getting ideas together around late 2013, and we wanted to do something a bit different, I guess, than our peers around us at the time, and
Right.
something that had sort of a strong package behind it, and it was a lot different when we first started. It was more kind of raw death metal style stuff in the vein of early Morbid Angel or Bastard Priest or something like that.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
And so we did that for a while, had a couple guys in and out at first, and this was a very early kind of formation of CLOAK, and then we kind of scrapped that and then started jamming with Max, who I met through a mutual friend.
Okay.
And we kept doing that for a little bit, and then Sean had a second kid, so we kind of stopped for a while, and I went on to do a band called Haunting for a little bit, and I was still playing in a band called Paradox at the time. And so time went by, and I guess Sean had hit me back up, and something happened to where he joined us in Haunting, and I moved to just vocals, and the drummer at the time moved to second guitar.
Okay.
And then that just wasn't working out after a bit. I don't think we even played a show with Sean other than like this actually like 2 years ago we did some like little reunion show or something with the
That's cool.
with the band that put out just a demo reunion. It's kind of funny, but so we did that for a little bit. It wasn't working out, and then we were just like, fuck it, let's just get back the CLOAK project that we had. And so it was really just on a whim. Like it kind of, you know, before I don't even think we had full songs other than a couple demoed ideas with Max. So I called Max back up. He was excited to do it, and we got Matt Scott, who played in Living Decay, to play bass, who had actually jammed with us briefly in 2013. So the real inception of CLOAK to me is early 2015. So
Okay.
in that short amount of time, I think we've come a pretty long ways, and 3+ years, however long it's been. And
Awesome.
yeah, so the basic idea behind the band was to do something that had like I said, the full package behind it. The image was very I don't want to say planned out from the start, but the concept was there from the start of what we wanted to do. We talked about it, and we had a plan of what we wanted to do, and we put out pictures before the demo so people could see it, and then we put out the demo before a show so people can hear it, and then we did a show that was very well promoted so that people got to see the live package, and then it just kind of took off from there. We got signed rather quickly. I don't even think a year after our first show we had gotten that we'd gotten that record deal with Season of Mist, or maybe it was less than a year after the first EP came out, which was on a local Atlanta label. So yeah, we're still moving along, and then I guess we are where we are now with Billy, who joined the band about 4 months ago on bass, and to me it's stronger than ever. We're getting ready for our second album and to do a bunch of summer shows. We're playing Psycho Vegas Fest, and yeah,
Oh, that's
going
great.
really well.
Now, just to kind of talk to you about this. So when I'm really curious what you think of this. Corey and we've recorded, really when we started doing interviews and everything else, we were doing it right out of Masquerade. I mean, just every fucking thing that we could get down there that we wanted. And I'm curious for you, living in Atlanta and when you were putting CLOAK together, because you all definitely stand out from the other stuff that I know of down there. So what was that like, trying to sculpting your own thing for that? I mean, that had to have been...
Yeah, it was it wasn't really weird for us because all of our personalities were kind of we kind of had that like rebellious spark inside of us anyways, so we didn't give a fuck. We just wanted to do what we wanted to do, and we knew, and I think that was half the reason that it took off the way it did, because we did stand out.
Right.
And we don't have blast beats every 5 seconds in our songs, and there's a groove to it, and people can remember it, and we look different, and I don't know, it just came, like, sounds cliche, but it did come natural just to do it the way we did it. And it was a little, at first it was sort of weird. I think people didn't really know what to expect, and I think people probably still don't really get it, but the people that don't get it weren't really meant to get it in the first place.
Sure.
But yeah, like I said, it's just, we kind of just had this vision for it from the start, and we knew that it was going to be misunderstood by a group of people, but also like really well liked by another group of people. So
it's great.
Worked out for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's excellent. And you want to talk about a little bit about maybe some of your first touring with after the record was dropped?
Yeah, we did a small East Coast tour, 5 days up to New York was the farthest we went, and then back. It was good. The record release show in Atlanta was really good as well.
Awesome.
And after that, we did a tour around Blood of the Wolf Fest, and then up to the Northeast to do some dates with Mayhem and Incantation. And those were
awesome.
The best shows we've played so far. Those are really, really good. We opened, it was first at 3, and the reception of it was very good for us.
That's great.
Yeah. That's all we've done so far. Hopefully more. I'm very, very eager to get on the road with this record. It's always hard with a first record. I think the natural progression of how bands start to tour, it's always on that second or third record they pick up steam. I'm sure we'll get a little more under this one, but I think after that second one, it's hopefully going to pick up a bit.
Sure.
That's great.
We're not the type of band that just goes out and, like, I've done bands in the past that are very DIY tours, just whenever, wherever. But for this band, I feel we're trying to be a bit smarter about our quote unquote business decisions, and I think we're not going to pick. Like, we've been offered to do tours that would have happened if we said yes, and they just weren't really the type of stuff we wanted to do. So we kind of wait for the right opportunities, and we seek out opportunities ourselves too. Like, if we see something, we'll talk to who we need to talk to try to get on them and stuff like that. But
awesome.
Right now, yeah, it's just a fucking waiting game. Is how a lot of the music industry is, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Well, Mayhem, I mean, that's pretty stout to put on your resume.
Yeah, that was really, really good. Our label helped out with that one, so we're definitely thankful for those shows, yeah.
And Incantation, they're both pretty heavy hitters.
Yeah.
It's a mixed really bunch, too, Not everybody that likes Incantation likes
pure
Mayhem.
Death metal.
Yeah.
Yeah, pure death metal, classic black metal, and then whatever we are in between, so it was really, really good.
Yeah, that's a good variety, I don't really...
Yeah,
particularly like it when they're putting so much different genres in one bill, especially if they're all just different. I mean, it's good for like festivals and stuff, sure, but like as far as tours, you get the general package. That kind of lineup is actually, it all works and it flows into the next band.
Yeah,
so
yeah, variety
very
that
smart.
Makes sense is always good. Yeah,
and then let's talk about my friend Bill. How Bill joined your band.
Oh, Bill.
I was so happy to hear that for him. And he's a great guy. I've known him for a little while, haven't I, Bill? I've known him for... It's been a minute. Bill?
Yeah, we... Sorry, say that again?
Oh, I was trying to talk to Bill. I don't know if he didn't hear me, but... Bill, are you there? Is Bill here?
Hey, sorry. I'm, you're cutting out on these, I'm catching like the first word.
What about right now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Okay, cool. I was just asking Scott how you came to be in CLOAK.
It's kind of weird, actually. I briefly met Billy at a show that we played opening up for Bolzer, and
nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, and I don't know, he just stood out, like, the way he looked. I'm sure he gets this all the time, but he looked like Lemmy, and I was like, who is this guy? I've never seen this guy. Like, he's like 6'5", and, like, just, I don't know, and I was like, this guy needs to be in our band. And we had been having, it sounds ridiculous, but I'm serious, but we were having issues with our bass player for a while, and whatever, nothing crazy. It just didn't work out.
Right,
and,
sure.
And really thankful for all the stuff he did with us, but it just simply didn't work out. So after that tour, I remember reaching out to, this was a little before that Mayhem tour. I reached out to a mutual friend that I know who knew Billy, and I was like, who was that guy you introduced me to? And he didn't remember his name. Like, he was like, oh, what's his name? Because he was probably like drinking or something at night. I was like, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, well, if you remember, just get back to me in the morning. So, and he did, and he's like, oh, hey, I remember that dude's name. It's Billy Robinson. So I like looked him up on Facebook, and his first fucking picture is him playing a guitar. So I was like, perfect. And I kind of sat on it for a while, and I talked to Sean and Max about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. And then one night after practice, we just had a rough practice with just stuff that was going on, and we're like, dude, let's just message him right now. So we did, and he seemed excited, and it's been great from there. I think he brings a ton to this band. He's a really good musician, and he kind of already had fit just, I don't know, the image of the band.
Just by looking like Lemmy,
Yeah.
And being a bass player, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's a good guitar player, too.
Yes, he is.
I mean, we were talking about it the other day. Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Oh, guys.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah, I mean, I was I was excited to do it. I was stoked when Scott hit me up and stuff.
I was thrilled. I remember seeing you, and when you told me, I was like, "That's fucking awesome." I was really happy for you, and that bridged the thing here, and that's why we're sitting here. It's really cool because I was just happy to hear that. I don't think that's ever happened with me, like knowing any of my friends that actually, landed in a band and stuff that was doing things and was interesting, and that's really cool. So, so for both of you, let everybody out there know everything you got coming up that you can talk about.
What do we have coming up as a band?
Yeah, shows and just anything you want to talk
about. Saturday, actually, this Saturday, the 27th of July, we're playing a first local show with Billy at the Drunken Unicorn.
Nice.
And that's with our good friends, Rotting Kingdom. They're sort of like a 90s doom metal band in the vein of Paradise Lost or My Dying Bride.
Cool. Sweet.
And they're from, really, really good. They're from Lexington, Kentucky, and then some local black metal, or a local black metal band, Malefic, is opening up. I've known their main guy, Devin, for a long time. So it's a good bill. It's a 3-band bill, which I love. I don't really like shows with 4 bands. I don't know. It just doesn't flow as much to me. I like that, like, short and sweet. People don't leave during the 4th band and stuff like that.
Right.
Or people don't leave during the last band, but yeah, it's going to be really good. We have kind of a new stage production going on, and it's all very DIY still, but we do it the best we can with how we can do it all just with the members. And I mean, we make all of our stage props and everything like that, and our banners. So it's still a very DIY band. So we have that, and then we have what's after that? We have Psycho Vegas Fest.
It's gonna be nuts.
August. Yeah, it'll be awesome. And
gotta hit up that pool.
From there, we're going to San Diego to play a one-off show with Church of Misery from Japan.
Yeah, that's cool.
And Spirit Adrift, and that'll be in at Brick by Brick in San Diego. And then after that, in September, we have Shadow Woods Fest, which is sort of like it's like you camp all weekend, and it's a 3-day festival. And we're just playing this Saturday, and we have a show on the way up and the way back down. It's looking like Raleigh on the way up and Charlotte, North Carolina on the way down.
Cool.
And then we have some stuff in October where we're opening for Tribulation here in Atlanta.
Nice.
And then we have other various shows in Athens that we're trying to work out now. So
cool.
somewhat busy in the regional area.
That's great.
And we're working on a music video that we just shot this past week too. I've been editing it all day, so
awesome.
That should be out hopefully within the next 2 weeks before Vegas.
Excellent. Which song was that for?
Yeah. For Beyond the Veil.
Nice.
And we work with one of my oldest friends who takes all of our pictures and shot our last video, and I edit it. So it's again very DIY, but it to me looks very good.
Cool.
Well, everyone be on the lookout for that. Beyond the Veil.
Yeah.
It's coming.
And we did a video for the Hunger back in. We released it when the album came out, so there's that floating around as well.
Cool.
Awesome.
And Bill tells me you're a huge horror fan.
Oh yeah.
Well, we can get into all things horror now.
They have a song called Deep Red on To Venomous Depths. Is that because you like the movie?
No, it's not related, but I did like the title. I will say that CLOAK has nothing to do with, like, the topics of the songs have nothing to do with horror movies, but the imagery and maybe the artwork and just the way we want to present our maybe our stage show and our music videos is definitely inspired by the horror and the gothic feel.
Sick. Nice.
Yeah, I think we're both big fans of that as well. I mean, I spend much of my time watching horror movies, probably too much.
So that was another thing that we had in common when Billy joined, is he was a big horror guy too, which was awesome. I think we were sitting at at my table, and I was like, "Is that a Devil Rides Out tattoo?" And
Nice.
that was he's like, "Yeah, no one's ever noticed."
I was amazed that you knew what it was. Nobody has ever known what that was.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Hammer movie, period.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and then we got in a conversation about how Glenn Danzig has that original Baphomet mask. He owns it, and he used it in the Am I Demon video.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And it's just like it was sitting on, like, above his mantle on his fireplace. I think it showed it. And he's like, he was being interviewed in some old interview, and he showed that. And I think that's what made me look up that movie originally.
No, he's going to be at Psycho Vegas, right? Danzig?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's
He's
crazy.
playing all the third album, which is, to me,
Elusive, huge.
kind of the... No,
That's two.
No, it's How the Gods
How the
Kill.
Gods
How the
Kill.
Gods Kill.
Yeah, to me, that's the pinnacle of
He did
the
Elusive
band.
Huge, like, last tour or something.
yeah.
Now he's on 3. It's pretty sick. You guys should totally say what's up to him.
No, I want to try. I mean, he's one of my idols for sure.
I mean, I would nerd out with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had
Speaking of,
we had Erie Vaughn on a few months ago, and that was fucking awesome. I talked to him for like 2
Oh, really?
hours. Yeah, it's like a 2-hour interview. You should check it out.
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he's-
love the book he put out with all the photos he did.
That's what he was
The,
promoting, I think, wasn't it?
Well, no, he
Oh,
wasn't really
sick.
promoting.
Yeah,
He was
the
just
Zero
drunk talking
Obscura.
to me on the phone, but it was not really. I mean, I've kind of become friends with him. Like, he's a really interesting guy. He's a hell of a photographer, though. But
Not an artist, yeah.
But I never knew, and if you guys didn't know this, Bill, I may have told you this, but when I did that interview, but I never knew that the first Danzig record was supposed to be another Sam Hain record.
Oh yeah, if you listen to Final Descent, which was the last Sam Hain album that
Yep.
came out after the band had broken up, it was something that Danzig mixed and kind of played drums on, and he just released it as a Sam Hain record. But there's Danzig songs on there. There's like an early version of Twist of Cain and Possession, I think,
It's fucking amazing.
and one other one. So yeah, it was that was in the works. And then Rick Rubin got a hold of him and was like, "Hey, we need to do this band, Danzig."
Yeah.
And then he kind of had them kick out everyone, and Danzig wanted to keep Erie Vaughn at least. So that was kind of how Erie Vaughn stuck, because Rick Rubin just wanted to pull Danzig basically to
Yeah.
form like a super rock group.
But Erie was sitting there telling me when they were recording that record, he'd never even touched a fucking bass before. He's like, I've moved them around like on stage, but I'd never picked one up and played it. And
Before which record?
before the Danzig record,
He had never played a bass?
no, he was drums. He was like, listen to the interview.
dude.
It's crazy. It's very interesting.
Huh.
It's very
Yeah.
interesting. Stuff I did not know. He's an interesting cat. Like I said,
Yeah.
him talking about all that stuff, and then basically, I never knew that John and Chuck were just brought in basically by Def Jam. I never knew any of that stuff. So
Yeah, Rick Rubin built the band basically. I mean, Danzig had a big say in it because they were friends. But Erie played bass on the Sam Hain record, so I wonder if he meant before the Sam Hain stuff he didn't play bass.
well, I think he meant just the way he was having them play, like kind of
Oh, okay,
Sabbathy.
okay.
Like he was like, I don't know what the
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
you're talking about. Like I just,
It's way different.
I'm not sure, but just listen to the interview. I know he was toasted when we did the interview. I love him to death, but I'm not really sure. But you can listen to it.
Yeah, that rules. Yeah, I'm a huge Danzig Legacy fan. Just all of his bands. I mean, I grew up on the Misfits, big time, and I'm just a massive fan of Sam Hain and Danzig.
It's good stuff. I mean,
It's essential, especially the horror appeal, too.
Well, yeah. Speaking of blending like horror and music, they were the first band that I was like, "Whoa, you can like he's singing about shit that I like in movies, and you can blend this." So I mean, that was a huge inspiration.
yeah, I mean, I remember the Lucifuge record I will not listen to in a car. I've been in 3 car accidents with that album playing.
Holy fuck! Yeah, it's cursed.
And never, well, I mean, seriously, like, I was never driving. And, like, when the record dropped in 90, I remember we were driving. I wasn't driving. I was in the back of a Volkswagen Rabbit that flipped like 7 times. and the tape's still playing. Then I was in a car that got rear-ended with the CD playing in it. Like, I just don't listen to that record when I drive. I just don't do it. But that's my favorite album. But
Loose Fuge is amazing. That's crazy.
Anything without
that it
well, you know what was funny when you
card wreck.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think I'm just cursed. But anyway, but if you listen to that interview with him, though, something that I never knew, like, because I was telling him basically, like, when him and John were done, like, I was, and Chuck I was done, you know, like, after the fourth record, like, I was just done. And
oh yeah.
And he's like, it was really funny, like, he got really weird about that, which I thought he would have been all about it, but I guess he really wasn't into talking about that, so we kind of ended that. Talking anything about Glenn, like, this didn't happen in the interview, but everything else was very interesting, and, you know, we even talked about some Misfit stuff, so that was kind of cool. But
awesome.
Yeah, check it out. See what you think of it. It's pretty cool. Let me know. It's kind of fun, but yeah. So horror stuff. So Scott, your first horror movie that you saw that you were like, this is awesome, when you were a kid?
Well, Halloween for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I remember being curled up on the couch, just being scared as shit of that movie.
Okay.
And it's still to this day, it's my favorite horror movie, and it's the theme song. Like, it's the scariest horror theme song, in my opinion. It's the coolest one next to Phantasm and Suspiria.
Fuck
but
yeah.
It's the fucking creepiest. Those two themes, the simple piano playing that John Carpenter did, it's incredible. And just I don't know, everything about that. Those first two Halloweens, I love the second one too. I mean, I have a guilty pleasure. Me and Billy were talking about it the other. I love everything up to 6, honestly. But
yeah, I actually really like 6, and I don't even know why.
No, 6. I mean, Paul Rudd's in it. Yeah. It's a good movie.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, Paul Rudd. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I love that movie.
I like the character of Michael Myers, no matter what they do with it. You know, I think it's just a cool character.
It just scared the shit out of me, and I remember David, who I was talking about earlier, who filmed our videos and stuff. He was kind of into horror. Like, he would watch it with his friends. Like, we were young, probably middle school or something. You know, I'd seen movies. That I had an older brother, so, you know, I was born in '90, so when Scream came out, I was, 6.
Right.
And that came out, and I was like, oh, what is this? And that's totally inspired by Halloween and all the horror, all the slashers. But yeah, I mean, Halloween was the one that like vintagey horror that I got into, and I was just like, wow, this is fucking crazy. And then from there, I just got obsessed. I mean, I have a Halloween tattoo on my arm. I love that movie.
I'm a big John Carpenter fan, so.
Oh yeah, just in general, The Fog is incredible.
Oh yeah, he's my favorite. But it's, you know, a lot of his stuff. I don't know, anything really for me after In the Mouth of Madness, I don't like.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen that one. That
movie's amazing.
Oh yeah, In the Mouth of Madness is one of my favorites.
It's fucking awesome.
I need to get that.
Fucking Sutter Kane.
I love Prince of Darkness with
oh, it's so good.
Alice Cooper.
It's so good. It's a great movie, man. And basically that movie's fun because it's essentially, he literally got done shooting Big Trouble in Little China, and this carried several of his cast members over into Prince of Darkness. There's several.
Oh yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Cool because he did that in The Fog too. He had.
Oh yeah.
Laurie Strode's friend, and fucking Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep, she's actually when they did that movie, she was married to Tommy Lee Wallace actually. So.
To who?
To Tommy Lee Wallace that directed Halloween 3.
Oh, okay.
Because he played on a bunch of. He's unaccredited, but him and Alan Holdsworth would, when they would record music, Tommy was usually sitting in with the band. But yeah, if you look, and it's really funny, you should listen to it. We interviewed Adrienne Barbeau, and before we got off the phone with her, we were like, "What's a funny story you can tell us about when you were married to John?" And she was like, and I'll just go ahead and tell you this pretty funny story. Corey can help me with this, so I'll paraphrase it here. But he liked to get drunk because they had bought a house. They loved that area where they shot. Halloween 3 was shot there later, but where The Fog was shot in Northern California, I can't remember the name of the city, and they bought a house there, and John would stay up late at night and watch the Jerry Lee Lewis telethon and get drunk, and she would go to sleep, and at like 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, she walks in there. He has his hair and up in a towel, and he's like hiding. He's like down on his knees, like hiding near the couch, and he's like, "There's a fucking bat in here. Get it out of here." And there was a bat like in the seat. It was really fucking funny, but yeah.
You got John Carpenter, and he's afraid of a little bat.
It's amazing. It was amazing to hear that dirt on him.
Yeah. I love those John Carpenter solo albums that he's been putting out too.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, the Lost theme stuff. It's interesting.
And on Halloween this year, he's going to be playing at the Palladium in Los Angeles. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
We actually have Goblin doing Suspiria here for Halloween.
Really?
Here in Atlanta. Yeah.
Nice.
You guys should come down. Yeah, they're playing the Earl.
That's really cool.
Holy shit, that's cool.
That really is neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been taking that stuff, all kinds of places. I think they did Dawn of the Dead last year or something. Now they're on the Suspiria stuff, which is great.
I saw them do at Maryland Death Fest. They did basically all the Giallo hits. They would screen them behind him, and he did, Deep Red,
hell yeah,
Suspiria, I think Tenebrae, and
it's amazing.
Yeah,
I think now they're doing the offshoot of Maryland Death Fest. They're doing like the Days of Darkness, and they're playing the Suspiria thing, I think.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So they're kind of touring out those.
That's really
cats
cool
too. So yeah, that's definitely something.
Corey last year went and saw, I guess, the remaster of Suspiria at this horror festival down in Florida, and
it looks so good. And I got the the Synapse Blu-ray, which I think is the same cut. It's like it's a little longer, but it's the soundtrack really makes that movie. If it wasn't for the soundtrack and how vibrant it is, like the color, it probably it wouldn't be as effective. But the music really makes that film.
It's like what I was saying. Halloween, yeah, it was the music, and for Suspiria definitely the colors, and then for Halloween it's more of like the drab colors, like it's very, very dark.
Yeah, because John made like stock music. I don't even know how you would do that, but that theme is like stalker music, and you got the boogeyman creeping around, and it's like so effective by how they do that. Makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that movie to me is, I think, why I'll always have my favorite. My soft spot will always sort of be for American horror. Like 70s, 80s. So, just because that's where I grew up, and I grew up in an American suburb, so it's like Halloween is an American suburban horror movie, and there's something about that, like Nightmare on Elm Street. There's something about that like suburban American feel that I can just relate to more than like say Argento films, which I love, but
sure.
I can just relate to something like a Carpenter or Wes Craven movie, or fucking, we've all been to summer camp, so
definitely
Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
Just
or The Burning, I think for me, the reason I like Italian stuff, I don't hold it to the American stuff. It's kind of a separate love, but
you're obsessed with it.
But I'm from New York, and a lot of the Italian stuff takes place in New York City.
Oh yeah.
Like Suspiria, they're in like a New York dance school, and then and New York Ripper.
New York Ripper. Yeah.
I think The Beyond is in New York too. I don't remember.
I thought that was New Orleans.
That's New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's more. There's like maybe opera, or I'm not sure if opera is supposed to be in Europe.
A lot of those are supposed to take place in New York and all this stuff, so it's kind of, it's cool. Yeah. So I guess that's where it comes from with me, like subconsciously.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also a gore hound, so I like all the Italian gore stuff. But as far as like a general horror movie and the vibe and the feel to it, obviously, the American shit, like Friday the 13th and all that good stuff. Phantasm.
Yeah. Exorcist, of course.
Yep, that's where my my shit started, was that.
Oh, cool. And Billy, what was your first one?
Oh man, it started with me like really young. So my dad would rent like old classic movies all the time, and I think at the time I got really sick of just having to watch black and white movies all the time. But then as I got older, and older and wiser, I guess. Well, maybe not wiser, but definitely older. I kind of started to look back and like realize how much I kind of just loved that stuff. Like I think now it's kind of part of me. So like early ones would have been like a lot of the old Universal monster movies, of course, like Dracula, Bela Lugosi. That definitely had an impression on me.
Nice.
Frankenstein, Boris Karloff, Lon Chaney, The Wolfman, all that kind of stuff. I think. Yeah, and then like Bride of Frankenstein, I think is one that always stands out to me because it's just so fucking weird. Like, I think like to me, like at least with all the other movies that I watched from that time period, that one stands out because it's just so bizarre. I don't know. To me, it seems that way, and it's just got this atmosphere to it that is just so unsettling, and I guess especially for the time, But then I kind of got into a lot of other stuff as I grew up. Like I got into a lot of the Hammer stuff as well.
That's awesome.
I've always been a big fan of my top three guys. I think are like Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing.
It's the trifecta.
So all those dudes from that era for sure.
Yeah, they're the kings, man.
There was one Halloween night in particular. I remember I opted not to go trick-or-treating with the other kids. I decided to stay home and watch movies with my dad.
Nice.
Because he had better candy anyway. So we're sitting there, and I can't remember how old I was. I must have been like 8, maybe. I was like 7 or 8.
That's a bold move to not go trick-or-treating when you're 8.
You're not going to get a sack. You're just
I know. I kind of just wanted to watch. Well, he had it was House on Haunted Hill. It was on TV.
Oh, awesome.
And he was watching that, and I was like, well, I kind of want to watch this because it's a scary movie, and it's something that I probably wouldn't normally get to watch.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there watching this movie, and there's the one scene where the lady is like by herself in this room, and then there's this skeleton that comes out and just kind of floats across the room. And scares the shit out of her. She screams, and then she falls into a big vat of acid. And I was just like, as a kid, seeing that, I was just like, holy shit, that is fucking terrifying. And then, of course, like the kicker was when you see the guy, forget which character it is, but this guy comes out from like a curtain or something, and he's got the skeleton on these like pulleys and strings and stuff, and like so like seeing that and seeing how like evil that seemed to me, like it was just like that made a big impression on me as a kid, and then I was just totally hooked after that.
Shit.
But so like and then I like all the Halloween stuff too. I like the stuff that everyone else likes. Like I remember seeing The Shining for the first time when I was in college.
Oh yeah,
and I will never forget the first time I saw that movie. That movie was fucked, man.
Vincent and I, we went and saw that in the at the theater last year, and seeing that in the theater completely turned around what I thought of it initially, because I love that movie. But seeing it in the theater, and that's a very underrated score also, because the score of that is
they have the
so immersive, and it's like it's creepy.
The first scene is the Dies Irae, the old death chant, but it was like updated and electronic kind of like it's
very eerie.
That theme is just haunting.
Hearing it in a theater is nuts, and you can really appreciate Stanley Kubrick's direction, by seeing it on like a big screen. You can really see what he was going for, and it's just total psychosis.
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
Such a beautiful movie. Just like all of his movies are gorgeous and amazing to watch and a feast for the eyes. But that one in particular definitely stands out to me, and just because I'm such a horror fan too, I think like I'll never ever get tired of that movie. Just put it on and I will watch it.
Same here, for sure.
Yeah, it's that's a good one, and that's one like you were saying with seeing it on a big screen for sure. I think I saw that, and then I saw The Exorcist on a big screen here, and I mean it just makes it so much better. I actually saw it. We have that Plaza Theater in Atlanta. It's I think the oldest theater here, and
nice.
They used to have film. They would pull old film reels that they could find or buy or whatever, and they actually showed an original Halloween film reel, and it was so beat up that it had this like orange hue to it, so it kind of worked.
Nice.
And they it was pretty incredible to see that on its fucking original format. You know?
Right. We saw that remastered Phantasm too.
Oh, right.
Vince and I did that.
Oh, yeah.
Was really cool. That's another amazing score. You know, makes the movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of my favorites. Yeah. What a bizarre movie, though. Like it. That's another one that, like, the score makes it. It just gives it a great atmosphere.
Yeah, that's perfect.
The plot is so crazy, but I love that movie. I don't know why. It's so weird. You know?
That's my favorite horror film for sure. Obviously.
Oh, Phantasm?
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just everything I love in one. It's just, you know, it's such a strange film, but it's all effective, you know.
Did that guy do any other big horror movies, that director? Or no?
Don Coscarelli, he did Bubba Hotep, which isn't really, I guess it's a horror film. He did The Beastmaster, not a horror film, but it's something to definitely check out. It's good.
It's like a Conan. It's like a Conan knockoff. It's really good. It has Mark Singer in it that was in the original V television show before ABC butt fucked it with that remake. And then, of course, that John dies at the end, but I think that movie sucks. Corey likes it. I think it's a piece of shit. But
I do like it. It's kind of cool. It's Don. I like Don stuff.
And then, of course, he didn't do the 5th installment of Phantasm, and it definitely shows. That movie's kind of a turd, but the first four, I'll watch all day long. I love those movies.
Should watch 5 to kind of round it out, but it is very different directorial-wise. It's, you know...
it was weird, too, like he'd walk away from his baby doing that, but...
Yeah.
I will tell you something interesting, though, Scott. Bill, you may get a kick out of this. I may have already told... Again, I can't remember if I've told Bill this or not, but... When we had Reggie Bannister on last year, thanks to Corey, which was fucking amazing, and just gave our Phantasm podcast this Phantasm seal of approval having him on. So he was talking to us, he and his wife was... Gigi was very heavily involved in Hollywood, in the behind-the-scenes stuff, and she was telling us basically how Phantasm 3... was initially supposed to have Bruce Campbell in it as Ash. And she was saying what a douche he was. Like, he just would not get on board with it. And they're like, well, you know, this is like literally right after Army of Darkness wraps. So it's like, do you want to come do this Universal picture for us? It's Phantasm 3, and then we're gonna call it something crazy. Like, I can't remember, because, you know, Reggie's just the only character in that film for the most part, and besides the tall man. And then, so Ash was supposed to be in that, and I guess he could never, you know, come to terms with it or whatever. And then
basically, they had to, in order for him to agree to do it, they would have to write the whole script around him, but they couldn't really get the character right in writing or something like that.
Well, no, he didn't. He was saying that he didn't like what Dawn didn't have him in the film enough and all this stuff, and it was just like,
yeah, they had to write the film around him.
I don't know. And I love the Evil Dead stuff. I used to, in my youth, and this is around 90, 91, 89, 90, 91, we used to go to Johnson City at the house and drop acid and get fucked up and eat mushrooms and get loaded. And so, because my dad...
the Evil Dead cabin?
Yeah, it's in Johnson City, Tennessee, what's left of it.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
All that's left is it's pretty much overgrown now, but all that's left due to vandals is like the chimney and then like some part of the porch, but it's... They tore it down, which is terrible.
Oh, yeah, dude. 89, 90, I used to go up there with my friends, and we would get fucked up. You know, I was a teenager, and we would get...
Whoa, that's crazy.
Totally fucked up there and everything else. And what was cool about it was... you know, all that stuff's very special to me. But...
Yeah, that's insane.
But after doing that interview with Reggie, you know, and hearing how uncooperative he was about stuff, and then... some other things, it was kind of a letdown. You know, you hear people like that, you know. And to go back to John Carpenter, it's the reason I've never met John Carpenter, because I really do like him. Like, he's my favorite director, not even just horror director. He's just my favorite director, period. And I don't know that I want to meet him, because, you know, I did an interview with Jeremy from Broken Hope, and he's obsessed with John Carpenter too, his favorite director. And he's like, yeah, I wouldn't meet him. Like, I met him, and he was saying he was kind of crappy to him. And
I'd meet him.
Jeremy spent like $1,000 with him just signing the Thing stuff, and he was not cool, and he was just telling me, like, basically don't do it and stuff. So it's one I'm going to probably shy away from.
I would do it.
That sucks.
It's John Carpenter.
Well, it's, you know, I think sometimes you just don't. You know.
I did it with Gene Simmons. I heard so much about that. Gene was so fucking cool. So I think, but I was short with them. I was just kind of like, "Hey, I'm Corey," and I didn't say shit because the more you say, the more they're going to act weird. So
people are
just kind of be chill.
I don't think.
Here's something cool, and you guys are Halloween fans. They're doing that Halloween 40 convention in Pasadena.
Oh, cool.
And our buddy Sean Clark, he does a thing for the Scream Factory Blu-rays and stuff called Horror's Hallowed Grounds, where he goes to the locations. He's doing a fucking tour at that thing where he's going to... either it's the day before the convention or it's like the day after, and you get to go to all the locations of those films. You get to go to the Myers house, you get to go, to the Halloween 3 shit, like probably to that... near that church where the fog was, like where that...
pretty cool.
But that bar is where Dr. Chalice goes. And
well, no, all that's Northern California. There's no way it's that. It's just the first film.
I don't know.
Because
that's awesome.
Maybe 2. I'm not really sure where 2 was shot, but 3 was shot in Northern California.
It's like a whole full
and 6
day.
Was shot in like...
It's like a full day tour thing.
Utah, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So...
yeah, there's some of it.
I think it's the first film. I mean, because he did that on that... If you guys have seen that... I don't know if you have this or not, Scott. It was like the super limited like Halloween box that has all the Scream Factory put out with all the Blu-rays and stuff in it. But the bonus features on it, what Corey's talking about, Sean does that. Like he went to all the film locations for like every film, and it's pretty interesting to see where they shot all that stuff and everything. But I think it's funny. And one of the reasons I have no interest in that new film was I don't like that they're wanting me to forget about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just don't. I don't.
Yeah,
like
that's a bit weird.
Well, and the company that's making it's kind of pretentious, and
I'll see how it plays out. Really,
Nick Castle is in it.
Blumhouse?
Is like I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So what kind of
what's up?
So what kind of newer films did you guys actually checked out that you liked? Horror films.
I think we both liked Hereditary, right?
I've heard a lot about that.
Yeah, actually, Hereditary is the best one I've seen in a long time. Actually, I was very impressed.
Heard great things about it.
That was good. I kind of like that first Insidious. And
yeah, those films are cool.
House of the Devil I'm a big fan of that.
Oh yeah, I like Ty
it
West in general as like a current horror director. I think he's doing some of the coolest stuff.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Ty West.
Oh yeah,
Ty West.
Mm-hmm.
He did
House of the Devil.
House of the Devil.
Okay.
It was. I think he filmed it in whatever film they used in the late '70s, early '80s. So it literally has that feel to it.
So I've always liked.
Yeah, he nailed it too.
Yeah, the same sort of.
Right out of there.
Oh yeah, it has the same pacing that those movies have, and
right.
Nothing big happens till the end. It's all one suspenseful build up.
Nice.
So that's definitely one to check out. I'm trying to think. I mean, it's hard these days.
Yeah, there's so many.
Not a lot of.
I actually liked.
I actually like this movie called The Ritual that was on Netflix. It's done by an Atlanta guy.
Mm-hmm.
That one was actually pretty good, man. I just watched that a few weeks ago.
It was cool. It was kind of it could have been very cheesy, but I think he pulled it off well. With
right.
I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, with kind of
the
theme
I definitely
of it.
liked where it went because I was kind of worried. It was like, oh man, it's just gonna be like the same old bullshit. Oh no, cool. All right, I'm good.
yeah, exactly. The Witch I wanted to like more.
I couldn't do it, man. I tried. I didn't know what was going on with it.
Man,
I love the
I like
soundtrack
the Witch,
and the feel.
I mean, I get why people like it. I just couldn't. It wasn't doing anything.
It's a little slow. I do like it, but I didn't love it.
I think the whole time I was trying to like, I was jumping too ahead of what the movie was actually doing, and I was like, wait, what is happening? And then I don't know, just didn't really catch me as much as I wanted.
I wanted to love it, but I just liked it. But I love the soundtrack, and
that's really good.
We do samples in between songs live, and awesome. I sample part of the Witch soundtrack. So I think I sampled House of the Devil on our old live shows too, and on our first demo ever. Yeah, we did a little sample from that. We just take little like piano and cello bits and put them in between songs so it's
pretty sick.
So it flows.
Yeah, I like James Wan. I think he's really effective. Love.
What has he done?
He did the Saw films. He did
Oh, cool. Yeah.
He did that
Insidious.
first film, I want to say.
Yeah, the first two, I think.
Insidious.
Yeah, they did Insidious.
Okay,
he does The
Oh, I
Conjuring.
didn't know that.
They did the Conjuring films, which are great.
I liked that first Conjuring.
Oh, so
I know Billy's not a huge fan of it.
No?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I couldn't.
Did you like the second one?
Maybe I need to go back and watch it again.
I wasn't a fan. Yeah, I didn't like the second. I liked the first.
See, obviously I love the Amityville shit in the beginning, and then
it was very very Amityville.
I think those Ouija movies surprisingly are pretty awesome.
I haven't seen any of those.
They're really good. I saw
the
Origin of Evil or whatever, the second one. It's really good.
Oh yeah.
It's very retro, and it's just got a good feel to it. It's pretty tight. I enjoyed it. But not a lot of horror movies. It's kind of like you said, it's hard to find
it's like
ones,
everything comes out. Everything comes out on Blumhouse or A24 these days, I feel like. And it's so hit or miss.
Yeah, I heard Hereditary's great.
Did you guys like Get Out? How'd you guys feel about that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
I was surprised by it, the level that it...
I did not like that.
I was surprised by it. I didn't know what to expect, and towards the end was pretty sick.
Don't Breathe is another pretty good thriller, like thriller horror. Did you guys see that?
Couldn't do that one.
Which one's that one? Is that the one with the blind, deaf guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Corey and I've made fun of that for...
I've never seen it, though. I've only...
yeah.
What's the other one? A Quiet Place, I've heard was good.
Oh, yeah, that one was super good. I don't know how I forgot that. That was one of my favorite movies of this year.
That one was a big one I've heard was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then the new It was actually good. I enjoyed it.
Oh, dude, I really enjoyed the new It, and I really didn't think I would.
I didn't either. I was into it really.
Skeptical.
I was really low watching it, and I was like, no, this is actually kind of cool. That it's beautiful.
I kind of went to see it on a whim, like with a buddy of mine up here, just like at the last second. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go see it, whatever. I got nothing else to do today. And then I was glued. It was so good. Like, I really enjoyed that movie.
I hate to say I was the opposite. I wanted to love it. I wasn't too into it. I saw it twice in the theaters, and I did like it better the second time.
Sure.
I just have such high, because I love that first It, so I just had high hopes. I didn't hate it.
I mean, the scene, the rock fight scene with the Anthrax song made me want to like.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They're freaking cool.
Oh yeah. But me and Vince are the same way though. The part 2 for the old film is like the best part with the adults. I think.
It's fucking awesome.
We're more looking forward to the sequel now. You know, the first one was pretty good. But the second one's going to be.
Do you know when that sequel's coming out? I totally forgot they got to.
Sometime next year. I think they're shooting it now. Because they had all the casting rounded out, so they should be about to film it, or they're currently filming.
It's in pre-production.
Pre-production. So it should be coming out, dropping sometime, probably the fall of next year. I'd imagine they'll push it to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Around that time.
I haven't seen a release date or even a projected release date from Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
so I think
I'm sure though, sometime next year. Near the end. But that's going to be good. As far as anything else, I mean, it's not really much. Yeah, I don't really know the newer stuff coming out. It's kind of hard to almost have to dig it up,
Yeah.
It kind of just hits there. But Hereditary is one I definitely want to see.
Yeah, see that in A Quiet Place. Those are great.
Okay. And then, I know this isn't really a horror film, but they're trying to make it into one. Is that Venom movie looks fucking badass.
Which one?
Venom, like the...
Don't tell Bill that. Bill doesn't do comic book movies.
No?
No, he does not.
It's Venom, like from Spider-Man.
Bill and I just had an in-depth conversation about this.
But this one's...
I'm not touching that, Bill. That was not me.
Not into the comics. Sorry, guys.
No, you're...
Yeah.
It looks pretty.
Sorry, you're out.
I'm stoked for that one, but... I don't... A lot of the comic book movies that have come out,
yeah.
I'm not into it, but I feel like that would be cool.
Yeah, a lot of them
I do like some comic book movies. I got to make that clarification. Like
I did not know that.
I like Superman the movie.
Yeah.
And I like what else do I like?
I think the old Batmans and stuff.
Dude, the Tim Burton.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Gotta like the Batmans. At least the Tim Burton
ones.
ones.
The Tim Burton Batmans. Actually, I really liked the Christopher Nolan version of Batman too, just because it didn't feel like a comic book. It felt like
those are great.
It's more like action
awesome
films.
Movie.
Yeah.
All this, yeah.
And I actually like.
I guess I do like some things.
I'm a shithead that likes Batman and Robin. I know everyone hates that movie, but I understand what they try to do. And
you were little when that movie came out.
Yeah, but I was old enough to know better that it was shit. But it's supposed to be like a wacky, it's supposed to be like a wacky comic book movie. It's not supposed to be like a serious dark movie. So it was a nice departure, and it's goofy as fuck, and it's so cheesy. But it's.
I liked Batman Forever,
that's my favorite one.
Out, but I think I was the right age.
Yeah, me too.
For that. So.
That was my favorite one because of the, you got Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face, and Jim Carrey as the Riddler. It's good. Yes, that's good stuff.
I'll always remember that one fondly.
And Val Kilmer as Batman's pretty awesome too. So.
Yeah,
love him.
I love that second. I like Batman Returns, probably the best.
Is that the one with Danny DeVito? Yeah.
Oh, Penguin. Yeah. The Penguin.
It's good stuff.
I'll be honest, I've read comics since I was 6 or 7 years old. I've never liked a Batman they've cast. I've never liked any of the Batman movies, but I like the old Adam West show because I grew up with it in reruns. It's awful, but I love it. I will watch that religiously.
It's trippy.
But cartoons, like the newer cartoons that they do of Batman and stuff, I love those.
But I like the 90s Batmans.
I grew up with the animated series.
They're about to put that out on Blu-ray, actually.
I still think that show's pretty kick-ass.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, they released not too long ago the Blu-ray of Mask of the Phantasm, which is such a good film. The 90s Batman stuff. Yeah, it's good shit.
Oh, cool.
That's what
I like the 90s Spider-Man and Batman and X-Men cartoons are all really good.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, those X-Men cartoons are really good.
Yeah, it's good animation. I mean, I grew up in the 90s, so I'm always going to say 90s cartoons were the best. But
you will hear 80s from me and 70s, but yeah, it's all whatever your wheelhouse is. Guys, thank you for doing this. We appreciate you coming on, and
yeah, thanks for having us.
No, it's really cool to have you guys on. It's our first Atlanta band, so
we got to nerd out, move into comic books near the end for Bill. So
yeah, it's Bill's favorite thing.
Yeah, it could have gone on for a while there.
We got everything else out of the way before we bullshitted.
We somehow went on about Danzig for a little bit, which always happens with me. So
it's totally fine.
Hey, we love that.
And you guys better get some photos with him and buy him a drink, whatever you got to
do. Yeah.
He's probably fucking flying out after he plays.
I don't know, man. That pool looks pretty bitchy. You need to go have some drinkies.
I was going to go back to his hotel room and eat some Wendy's.
I thought you were going to say eat some ladies. I was like, probably that too. I don't know.
Maybe.
The funniest thing, I'll tell you a funny story about him before I let you go. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. Because, Scott, if you're like me, because I'm a Danzig fan as well, it was always annoying them showing that, ska band, that guy sucker punching him.
Yeah.
I hated that. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was, everywhere.
And they're just like, Danzig got punched in the face.
Yeah, I fucking hated that, right? It made me sick to my stomach. Well, I saw this live. I'll never forget, for the rest of my life, I'll never forget this. They were playing what was at the time Starwood Amphitheater in Nashville, and it was like a little Aussie tour. It was this was 95, 96, something like that. And Danzig was the direct support for him. And I'll never forget, I don't know what was going on down front because we had seats, but we couldn't really see good in an amphitheater, and you're just still kind of flat and kind of looking down, but sort of up. But anyway, I'll never forget, he launched into the crowd while he was wearing one of those gauntlets, and he was wearing somebody the fuck out. And all I know is they turned all the power off on Danzig, and that was it. Lights came back on about half an hour later. Do what now?
He fought somebody in the crowd?
Yes, he did.
Damn.
And it was the craziest thing. I saw them get him out of the crowd, and then all the power went out on the stage, and that was it. There was never, it was during the middle of a song, and that was it. And I never, this is all pre-really internet, so I never knew what happened or what was going on.
I probably had a camera.
And this was that Black Acid Devil or whatever. That's what he was touring. So, but yeah. Damn. It was pretty crazy. And then somebody, yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that. But I met him one time. I met him on the How the Gods Kill tour. They were touring with Caius. And This was Blues for the Red Sun too, and met all those cats. And then Danzig was over there, and he was telling us, and he was super nice. Like, I've always heard all these horror stories about him. He was really, really nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I used to love that that Black Aria thing. Oh my god, I used to just drive around listening to that because that was like his intro music when I'd go see him. Oh, yeah, fucking amazing.
Fucking awesome.
It is. It's fucking so good.
The only reason he's a dick is because people fuck with him. I mean, if someone's gonna fuck with you,
I love him.
Yeah, I mean,
I always loved
with
him.
me. I'm gonna be a dick to you too, man.
Especially if they film it. It's like, it's not funny.
Don't fuck with our friends.
Oh, I know. I hated that Sucker Punch video. That thing was like viral. I hated that goddamn thing. Like, and all my friends would send that to me. I'm like, whatever. Like, it's fucking stupid. But yeah, that's a true story. He literally launched off the stage onto somebody and started wailing on him. And they had that like gauntlet thing on.
That rules.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. And what was so wild about it was like they got him up off the stage, and then I have never seen this at a show. Well, then one other time, and you can actually look this up, but Danzig wasn't there, but I'll tell you about that in just a sec before I let you go. But there was, like, all the power went down off the stage, and that was it. But the Ozfest in '97 in Columbus, Ohio, when Black Sabbath didn't play, there was a riot. Like, right after Pantera got done, there was a fucking riot. People were throwing fucking trash cans that were on fire. They were tearing up the fucking... This was at, like, their amphitheater there. And it was fucking crazy. I remember people fucking leaving. People were, like, pissed off and breaking shit. And, like, all the merch people and the people that worked there were putting street clothes on so nobody would, like, do anything to them. And, I mean, it's fucking crazy. Yeah, it was fucking nuts. And that was when Ozfest was, like, this was... I'm talking, this is, like, the first one. This was, like, you know... Pantera and Typo Negative and Fear Factory and all whatever was popular at that time. But we'd went there to, you know, just to go check things out. I went with a chick, but not really my scene. I was more into death metal stuff. But anyway, but we went. I wanted to see Pantera again. That was fun. But yeah, I didn't expect them to be a goddamn riot when Black Sabbath didn't play. So I thought that was kind of funny. But
yeah.
But anyway, but look, thank you guys for doing this. Awesome, Bill. Thank you, sir, for setting this up. It's awesome. Scott, thank you for your time, sir. See you in Atlanta sometime.
Thank you guys for having us.
We appreciate it. And
all right, this is Scott from CLOAK.
Hey, this is Billy from CLOAK, and you're listening to Phantasm Podcast. All right.